Hello. Hello. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, Konfor, you're all welcome to this platform. It's a special having with us today afternoon. A very special guest, the topmost who is no other person than Excellence Samuel Ikome, who is our acting president. Stay tuned to share as so that we can get some audience to listen to our activity. So, good afternoon, Your Excellency. Platform on the humbled that you accepted to be here today to tell us about. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Let's check the quality. It's like there is I'm really hearing two of you talk. I think that problem now with me. So let that be adjusted, please.
Yes, I hope that Penn is able to do that for us. Is Penn, are you with us, please? Let me just give him a call to be sure so that we have a smooth program. There's some echo. We don't know where it's coming from.
No.
All right. I'm hearing, and the president is also getting echo. You want us to just carry on? Yeah, maybe you give us a few seconds because the president is sorry. Okay. He insists we carry on. He's going to work on that, Your Excellency.
It's better now.
It's better now. Okay.
Okay, I can hear just you. I think this
yeah.
is good.
So once again, you're welcome, and I'm happy to have you here as my guest of honor.
Thank you very much for everything you do for this struggle.
Oh, yeah.
I hope we'll have a good time talking to our fellow citizens for the next few minutes.
Yeah. See.
Better now.
It's better now. Okay.
I can hear just you.
Yeah. Okay. So, fellow Amazonians, this is Konfor, and today to listen to our Excellency, His Excellency Sako Ikome. We are talking with nothing. We talk about this day with one thing that is trending within our revolution of my trip to Buea. And since many people have got lots of questions, no matter how long you have been talking about my trip to Buea, there still seem to be some number of questions and certain clarifications that you will need to make. So as I begin, I would like to say, I know you have said a lot that everybody by now should know, exactly what my trip to Buea is all about. Individual, I summarized my trip to Buea in a very few words. I would say, to me, my trip to Buea is a platform for collaboration, is a platform for reunification, is a for reconciliation. And my excellency, I have a question this time around, which is going to like twist things around. What is my trip to Buea not about? We already know what it is about because you have said a lot, many people have said a lot, who have learned, who have asked questions, who have understood. What is my trip to Buea not about? Here I mean, what is this we are collecting not to be used for? I think people would like to.
Yes. It is indeed, for me, I call it an out-of-the-box campaign or contribution. It is not going to run government as usual. It is not meant to fund the department government. It's not meant for all the departments. By so, I mean Home Affairs, I mean HSS, I mean refugees. I know some people have, this will not be very comfortable to hear. It is not meant for IDPs or for legal fees or to take care of prisoners. That is not the purpose. It is, okay, you said you want to know what it is not.
It's fine. If I know it's not, then you will help me more by telling all it is. Now you have said what it is not, so just completely telling what is it then all about? What really?
Anybody who wants to put this in a box that he has known before will be creating a false equivalent. It is not any of that. And now, which is to say, if you are not happy with any of what I have mentioned, the way it has done, money used and how much has been used, don't just worry. This has nothing to do with that. It is all about a strategy that I put together carefully with some of the
You
best.
You are muted.
Okay. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
But a strategy that I put together with some of the best expert advisors from inside and outside the revolution who have helped us to put a strategy in place. That is in response to the problem that we have been struggling to contain for almost 2 years now. Okay. And the aim of our response, which this 2 million is meant for, is to dramatically stop the problem. We are going to stop the problem of refugees going out. We are going to stop the problem of burning down of villages. We are going to stop the problem of our own living in forests. We are going to stop the problem of the random abductions and arrests of our people who are now in places we don't even know, and rampant disappearances of our people we don't know. We are going to stop that. Our strategy is to stop or solve the problem, which we have been trying to contain. We are not going to be just taking it. Today they say they have bombed this village, and we start advising our people to run to the forest. And when they run there, it is rain, thinking about how to provide shelter. And those in hospital, how to kill them. No. We have a response that will stop all this from happening, that will arrest all this. Then it is our estimation, then that is only when dialogue will be less expensive than the war that has been declared on us. Okay. As long as the dialogue is considered more expensive than the war that has been declared on us, we would continue to die. Why do they consider that dialogue is more expensive? Because to the enemy, to La République, they are scared of dialogue because every time they think about it, they know they lose 100%. But they think that if they continue to occupy and do what they're doing and kill, maim, and intimidate our people, they know that they are only using a percentage of what they are getting from our territory. So they are still on the blue. They are not yet on the red. Nobody funds a war from a deficit. Even the Americans decided to pull back their troops from Afghanistan and from other places because of the rising deficit. There's no nation that will continue to fund a war on a deficit. When you see nations fund wars, it's because they are making something out of it, and they are spending just part of it to make to prosecute the war. So we are going to turn the tables around, change the equation, the balance, and make sure that they now see that probably negotiation is cheaper than prosecuting the war. I wouldn't say anything more than this, but that is my strategy. I cannot wait for the team to call me and tell me the money is there now. But in the meanwhile, we are going to continue to do with the little we have outside my trip to Buea, to run the government, to still make sure that our leaders, they have legal help, and those for what we can afford, trying to contain that which is already in our hands. And you know that it is the enemy's strategy to keep doing what he is doing so that the mess will be so great a mountain that we cannot contain, and thereby we be forced to surrender. Then we are going to use the little we have from contributions and goodwill contributions from friends and members and those who are registered on to give to the government. We're going to use that to do the day-to-day things that we need to do as a government, while we quickly wrap up with what we need to change the game.
Okay. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I think this explanation, the two-way explanation, what my trip to Buea is not meant for and what it is meant for, has thrown more light, and many people would have their doubts now clarified. One thing that I've picked from there is that instead of us making money to go feed our refugees, it means we're encouraging more refugees to meet them out there. We're encouraging more people. We're encouraging them to burn down our villages so that our people go live in the forest like animals. So we want to stop that by not feeding them, by not giving them food, but putting this money into the right place for the right purpose, so that we get ourselves out of this mess as soon as possible.
Exactly.
Once again, fellow Ambazonian, fellow viewers, we are here making implications on the points on my trip to Buea. While we are talking, while the Excellency is giving us more knowledge about this, please do us a favor, go to www.mytriptobuea.com. You something, do your contributions. That is a civic responsibility for every Ambazonian. And this takes me to another question. It sounds like not a serious question, but it is, because I've heard this come from left, right, front, and back. Your Excellency, some people think that my trip to Buea is designed by and for a particular group of people or some particular persons. Who is supposed to contribute for my trip to Buea? Who is supposed to get a ticket for my trip to Buea? And is there a limit? For example, who knows somebody who has already taken upon himself, it is my responsibility to get a ticket for my trip to Buea so that I get my people out of mess. And this person has paid maybe up to $8,000, the Sisiku class. Is that a limit that because he has paid up to $8,000, he will not contribute again? Or these are two questions here. Who should pay for my trip to Buea? And is there a limit? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Now, everyone who wants to get to Buea and sing the freedom song is called upon to contribute. I don't care your affiliation. I don't care your nationality. If it will be part of your joy to join us in Buea soon, and we sing our big song, and we celebrate victory at last, then this is the one time we are appealing to you to make such a contribution, such as you'll be able to say, I made my contribution when it was necessary to cross over the bridge. I did it. When it was necessary to stop the mess, to gain our victory, that which was needed, I did my best. There are people who are paid with their blood, resisting the evil. And there's no amount of material sacrifice that can equal your life or the lives of those who have gone before us. Therefore, everyone. You see, there are some people who say that I don't care who you are, even if you can take me to Buea, here am I. Those are the people I'm appealing to. Forget about affiliations now. There is nobody who has come in this revolution at any time and told you, I have the formula, I have the strategy to finish the job, and that please let us invest heavily in this one instead of trying to just give a little help here, give a little help here, thereby enemy to aggravate the situation, encouraging the enemy to tell them we have enough money to take care of the mess as long as you send us more of it. And they know that our resources are not infinite. If we continue to contain the mess, very soon there will be fatigue. And when we can know more, because we are not just, we didn't position ourselves to take care of these problems that Lollipop would bring on us. We position us to get our freedom. So they know that if that continues, people will soon get tired. And they will see that this is no solution to the problem. And by so doing, there will be donor fatigue and
fellow Amazonians and fellow dear viewers, as you can see, the connection is a little bit problematic. But
then they will establish their very wicked regime of conquerors over our nation, and will become the conquered people of Amazonia. In our time, please, we cannot allow that. Let it be recorded in our digital records and in our history that you made such a contribution as was necessary. I know you have supported us. You have sent money to prisons. You have helped some. You have helped some in different who sent to distress. You have sent money to bury the dead. You have sent money to investigate about those in your family and your neighborhood that got missing. You have done much. You have invested in this movement. You know what? It just brought us to the place where we can see the bridge and we want to cross. Can you please just make that extra contribution? People on ground zero, we are working on means that you can send money. You can send money to any relative of yours, and the person will do good to make sure you pay. He pays the money for you. Or somehow there can be a swap anywhere. He can pay for you, and you know you pay the money to somebody. So be very careful, be very smart, but make sure you are counted. If as much as it is within your power to make that contribution, do so. It's historic. It is something monumental. It shall be remembered by our history. And we even intend to convert all the givings for my trip to Buea into shares, the shares of our Amazonia Airlines. So we're already contemplating that we should have the Amazonia Airlines. All those who have donated any amount, I think they are now, the committee is setting up the amount they share. So if the minimum amount is $100 for shareholding, then those who contribute up to $100 should have at least a share in that future company. our companies, our national companies are owned by people. So if the people who are contributing naturally become shareholders, then that is indeed a public company. Our investors, those who will buy the buses and do the airports and so on, will hold a certain percentage, but the rest will be held by the people of Ambazonia. So the more you contribute now, you can buy 2 Sisiku tickets. You can buy 3 Sisiku tickets because you know that amount is going to be converted. We are soon going to issue out the passes, which will have the number for your share certificate for our first national company when we arrive ground zero. So everyone can contribute. Everyone can contribute, even students who can put their monies together. Make sure you contribute. How much? As much as you can. There are people who really want to invest and understand the business side of this, and they are blessed. They have the money. If you give us $100,000, $200,000, or even $500,000, well, they will be converted into shares or bonds. So this is what we have decided to do, because we know that we are getting to Buea very soon. If we get this money, you will be able, after I announce to you, thank you, I give you my final thank you, after 2-3 months, you will understand that we should be making our backs, because the game would have drastically and radically changed. Okay. You know, I know what stubborn enemies do. People are stubborn, they are not fool. When things change, they go back to the drawing table. We want to force them to the drawing table.
Okay, once again, thank you, Your Excellency, for the detailed explanation. I think everybody has understood. From what I've got from Your Excellency, to Buea, my trip to Buea is open to everybody, both Ambazonians and sympathizers, because you would either be going to Ambazonia as a citizen of the Federal Republic of Ambazonia, or as a tourist, or in some other capacity. So please do well to go to www.mytriptobuea.com, chip in something, and little is much when Christ is it, as the Bible says. So do well to do something about my trip to Buea. Meanwhile, as you are watching, fellow Ambazonians, if you have a question for Your Excellency, you can equally put it here on Facebook, and I'll pick it up and read it to him so he can give us more clarifications. He is here, like I said before. What makes the difference between these two nations is that we are dealing with human beings. Our president is accessible. You can talk to him, you can call him, you can write to him, you can ask him questions, he will answer. So don't take any question home when he is right here, right now, to attend to us. And this takes us to what I listened to you last time, Your Excellency, when you had a session with Mark Barretta. There is this thing you kept saying. You said, instead of us containing the mess that we are in, we should rather clean it. And a while ago, you said it again. What does it really mean? Cleaning the mess instead of containing it. Just explain it for that many more people will really get you clearly and how it relates to my trip to Buea.
Yes, the mess is what we are in. Everything that we are suffering now is a mess that we didn't ask for, we don't deserve. Those that are forced to live in hiding, it's a mess. And if they have some of our contacts, they call us every day. My mother has spent more than 2 weeks in the forest. Thank God no La Republic will know anything about this.
I know.
So you can imagine, and my friends, you know, your village where you grew up, some of us are identifying with this right now. Your village bent down completely. Bent down. And what has happened to those young people? You know, they are forced to run away into the forest. And they are forced to fight back for their survival, because if they don't fight, they will die. If some even decide to stay home, that I know my hands are clean, I'm not involved in anything, I'm not part of this, what happens? You have been on social media and seen what is happening. What happens? They meet them at home, see a bull-bodied young man and say, this is a terrorist. They kill them. Because their own definition of terrorist in the kind of situation we are, anybody who speaks English, anybody that is found in Ambazonia, is of a certain age, is a terrorist. And if they kill us, there's no prosecution, no investigation, no indictments. You just get lost. We are not humans anymore. That is part of the mess. The refugees that are increasing. When His Excellency was arrested in January, we had about the unofficial figures were about 20,000 refugees. By then, the United Nations had already acknowledged and recorded only 5,000. Today, they are about 63,000 counting. So this is the mess. We have to take care of pregnant women, 13 mothers, and wounded people in hospital. We have to account for the loss, increasing number in prison, court cases. This is the mess. This is the mess that we found ourselves as a government just trying to contain, abducting our leaders, transporting them to who knows where. And then this is the mess we have to contain. We have to see how to get lawyers to pursue a people who have decided to act outside the law. That's the mess we are struggling to contain. And when we are containing the mess, we are not engaged in the right battle. We are not fighting to win. We are fighting to survive. We cannot be struggling just to survive a ferocious enemy who has decided to wipe us out as a people. That's what I call containing the mess. We cannot continue to contain the mess. You know why? It is because at a certain point, it will be impossible for us to do that. Right now, it is becoming almost impossible for us to reach out to everywhere there is a mess caused by the public. When shall we start helping the people to build their villages that have been burned down? When shall we something for the people who are missing, who are dead, and that we think they are somewhere in prisons, but they are dead? When shall we pay for the legal fees for all of them who are added in prison in their hundreds every day? When shall we when shall we start taking care of every single refugee, women and children, who are in their thousands in Nigeria and increasing by the day? When shall we be able to take care of all their needs, their shelter, their feeding, their education, their clothing, every day? Just about 50 cents. It means that we need to spend about $30-something thousand every 24 hours. When shall we be able to do that? And the enemy is counting that very soon they will get tired. Tired, not that we will lose our determination, but that we have no means to continue. That is what I call the mess. And this is the strategy I call containing the mess. Then we have to change the strategy. We will not engage in this struggle to survive. We will not just engage in this struggle in trying to survive and trying to help our people to survive. But we want to engage in this struggle now with the objective to change the balance. We must win. We are not struggling to, we will not be struggling to survive, we'll be struggling to win. Whatever that means, that is what we're going to do.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you once again, Your Excellency. So what you have said is that cleaning the mess, if I understand, cleaning the mess here, it takes money. We are not trying to survive. We are not struggling to survive, but we are struggling and struggling to win cleaning the mess, struggling to, it takes nothing but money. It is all about money. That is why no matter whatever thing we are doing here, please remember to visit mytriptobuea.com, because it takes money to come out of the mess, as our president has explained to us. It takes money to win, as he is saying to us, because he says we are no longer struggling to survive, because we have been struggling to survive for the past couple of months. This time around, we are struggling to win, and it is all about money. Money is just the key. So please let us do our best as we can, be able to contribute for my trip to Buea. Let us sell the idea of my trip to Buea to friends and neighbors, classmates and schoolmates, church members, and wherever. Let us tell our story to people. Let us get some money so that we get out of this mess as soon as possible, especially that we have got a dedicated leader who is ready to fight for us, to move ahead for us till we come to our logical end. Raisa Tuntang, note of your question, and I have a similar question, so I believe that by the time I ask mine, if you don't get it clear, then I'll read your question to Your Excellency to answer again. So please stay tuned, and please share and invite as you join in, so that we listen to more clarifications on my trip to Buea. So Your Excellency, there's another question here, which is really interesting. Last week, actually, people pointed me with fingers because of this. There is this audio that came from one of our comrades from home, from Ground Zero. He was really so severe and so sincere. He says this is coming from Ground Zero. Now we are asking you, I want to start by saying the sweet thing he said about us. He said that you in the diaspora, you are so sweet. I thank you for that. And secondly, he pointed out that on Ground Zero, they do obey us, they respect us. When we ask for them to observe Country Sunday, that is the ghost towns, they do it. When we ask for school boycotts, they do it. And this time around, he is doing the best he can to encourage people at home to get a ticket for my trip to Buea. He is asking that every individual who is in the diaspora should to get it, because he will not take it lying down. Even if he dies, he is going to assign somebody to make sure they check all our data to make sure that who is in Buea on that day bought ticket. If not, you will be sent out of Buea. So some people came out and said that was a threat to the public. He is a criminal. He has to be. What do you have to say about this voice from Ground Zero? What is your opinion?
You know, it is possible when you are far away from the action spot to characterize things your own way. But when you are on zero, through what everyone on Ground Zero has gone through, you will cut that back. Because just being sincere, so it's good that he has said it, so that let everybody hear. Because if you shut him up, you think you have taken out the thinking. You have not dealt with it. There are some people who actually think like that, and there are many. They think that they have given their all. They have given their, and their own and very close ones have paid the ultimate price. That all we can do, our children are still in school. We are living in security. We are not in refugee camps. We are not wounded. We are not beaten. We are not molested. We are not raped. We are not part of that trauma. We only suffer indirectly because loved ones are involved. And sometimes we send money to bury the dead and help those who are in need. So all we can do is we have their own price with what they are. So they are saying, isn't it easier for you to take even everything you have materially, for you lose nothing? Mm-hmm. God had moved you to safety and has given you the means. If you cannot make the means available, it means you have failed in your own responsibility in this struggle. So they are making it that they will not feeling towards us. If we're just waiting for them to pay all with their blood, we cannot even make our resources available when exactly it is needed, like now. On that day, they will rise against such people who made such calculations. And those people who are standing on the fence thinking that we end someday, Atanganji Paul will re-establish the French colonialist authority again in our land, and there will be calmness, as some other prophets of this movement said, normalcy shall prevail. For those who are dreaming like that, it cannot happen. That is, it can't happen, because we have lost rivers of blood. No revolution, no, for what? Okay, you say that it will be over. You think it will be over, so you don't want to invest in the struggle. Then why lose so much? Why lose so many people? And now they are still dying, some with terrible wounds, some are sending out their last breath. Why? Just to come and end up with, thank you, Atanganji Paul. It's a dream. It's impossible. This thing is not ending anywhere. And now we are turning the page. We are not going to contain it. I can say that over and over to the end, because I know what I'm talking about. And I want to thank those who have actually responded, and they are responding to my trip to Buea. Very soon, I will stop talking, because we are not going to continue. Anybody dreaming that we're going to stop suddenly, and then they will have they will be drinking their trantoir all over the place. Another round of 56 years of session. It's a dream. Just forget about that. This, we are going to win, and not too long from now, we are going to take the shortest route to assemble in Buea. Whatever that means, you will see it in practical ways, not very far from now. From the responses I see, I am happy, and I want to assure you that the route is really shorter now.
Okay, thank you, Your Excellency. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, remember my trip to Buea.com. Remember to ask your questions and be patient. Brown and Raisa, I have taken note of your questions. Your Excellency, people keep saying that you should increase your volume. I don't know whether, maybe just give it a touch, I don't know. So, ladies and gentlemen, another question for President. Before I come to you, Charlotte, I'm just following them as I put them. So, we now have our collaboration forces on the ground, Your Excellency, from what you made us understand a couple of weeks ago. And I think, if I'm not wrong, they call them Ambazonia Security Council. Does it still make sense for other groups or for individuals to raise some extra funds to fund them to carry on with activities on the ground while we are working on my trip to Buea, or should all the funds be channeled to my trip to Buea and let the interim government coordinate every ground action? This has been an issue somewhere, and I would really like people to hear from the horse's mouth. Thank you.
Yeah. As I said, our regular business as a government is still ongoing. Part of that business is that we engineered the creation of the Ambazonia Self-Defense Council, ASC, which is an independent body that coordinates all the major self-defense groups on ground zero. And we took the responsibility as the interim government to give them the technical support as far as they continue to abide by the rules of engagement that they have submitted to us and they are properly done. As soon as they continue to abide by the, as far as they continue to abide by the code of conduct, which we saw, which made a lot of sense, and according to international law, We are going to support them. We are going to give them whatever support we can afford, and we are doing that right now as I speak. But government, this we are already those people who are paying citizenship contributions choose so, because we'll continue from that amount to give them whatever support we are giving them to continue to stand their ground. And continue to encourage them, because according to the international law, according to natural law, and every law deserves, every right is a human right to defend yourself, defend your family, defend your territory. It's a human right. So as far as it is a human right, we are going to defend it, we are to promote it, we are going to organize for it. Every human right deserves these things. As government, we stand behind them. Every community is encouraged to organize itself into self-defense groups. Now, these major defense groups that we have identified, which have come in under, they are people who have the experience and the knowledge and the means so that they are able to help us to vet any other community group that comes in and see how they can be incorporated in this under this umbrella, so that there will be order, so that infiltrators can be without, so that we avoid duplication and lack of coordination, and we get a more efficient resources that we have or they have. We encourage individuals there by the resolution of this council to avoid infiltrators coming in, buying our own best in this, to start working against the movement and the struggle that we say. If you are supporting any of these groups, please send the money to the IG, send the money to the Secretary of State for Finance or our Ambazonia Foundation account, ambagov.com. Go and register their citizenship levy, continue to pay. My appeal to those who have been contributing their citizenship levy is even that we should increase it. Some people are giving $10. Please, at this time, try to increase it to $20. An increase of $10 will not change your standard of living. Just do so that we can contain some things. Like now, we have more self-defense groups which are legitimate, which are not decoys set up by the occupation forces. They are legitimate forces. So we are, after a lot of vetting, the ASC has absorbed them and present when the number increases, so we have to really take care of them. And we are now, once that is set, that will be very good. There will be order. There will be order, and that is going on now. There is order. That's why you will not be hearing very soon a lot of audio, people talking all over the place, claiming responsibility. When there was rivalry between them and saying, some people will claim responsibility for something they did not do. Many people are in the business and the habit of doing that. I did this, we arrested this, I did not do anything. Now that we're working under a coordination, it is difficult because the commander, everybody, they work the communities, they in collaboration. So you don't claim responsibility you did not do. And you don't even have to, because the IG takes care of everybody, and not because somebody claimed responsibility yesterday. So those lies don't fly again around. And those people exposed and who want to keep telling lies that I did this and I did not do this may not want to belong to the coordination, so that they have the liberty to claim everything every other person does and say we are the people who did it. And there are some people too who donate money on how much you come on Facebook and claim responsibility. Those people too, you have a problem because you're encouraged and something that is not helping the revolution. So, and so the money, these groups, what has happened on Ground Zero will help the struggle. When we launch out, by the time we launch up my trip to Buea, strategic response, we will have an easy sail because of all the reorganization that I'm doing right now, that the people of Amazonia have encouraged me to do, and I can see positive responses in all domains, whether it is in self-defense, finances. So let the money come to the IG, whether it is coming to support those self-defense groups. Because, for example, if you don't send it to IG, you say everybody can send money on Ground Zero. Those people in Ground Zero, though they are fighting, they are desperate. If the enemy start looking on anyone who can send them money, it's a good person. They start calling him our patron. They start calling him our president. They start calling him our general. That is dangerous. The enemy can zoom in there and take over a lot of them and start giving them directions instead of the government, which has a program, giving them directions, supervising them within the law. So that window there must be closed. Now they look up to us. We are doing our best. And when they are looking up to us, they call us. We should be able to help them. You send the money to the. We are willing, able. Those in the Amazonia Self-Defense Council can testify for us. I don't need to say this. We are now actually, all those who are vetted and who are working with us in a coordinated on the ground to defend themselves and our communities. Therefore, we need that help. Because listen, when you send help straight to Ground Zero, it should be for humanitarian reasons. Probably because of some distress calls that came to you and you are trying to see how to handle them as an individual. But if you want to help them for a coordinated response against the enemy who is oppressing them, you better send the money to the IG, because we have a strategy team which we call the ASC that can organize and coordinate that response and get the best of results.
Okay, thank you so much, Your Excellency. Fellow Ambazonians and fellow well-wishers, as our president has said, everything is all about money. It is all about coordination. It's about organization. So it takes money. To help people on the ground, the security forces, it takes money. Getting a trip for my trip to Buea, as Your Excellency has just said, does not mean we are stopping to contribute for the citizen levy on ambergov.org, because we have still got a bunch of things to do. The interim government has to do. And this is a piece of advice from our president. Let all of the funds be channeled to ambergov.org, and the interim government is doing its possible best to ground action be coordinated, because we've got technicians, we've got people specially assigned to carry out that duty. So it takes money, it's organization, it takes coordination. Thank you once again, Your Excellency. And this takes us to another question which you started answering. I was just smiling because I said, oh, I still have to ask. This is going to be a little long because I'll ask mine and ask what Charlotte L. Brown has asked here. She is so serious about that. So according to some Ambazonians, raising 2 million is not like sugar licking. And that is why they came up with an idea which you already presented. That they were, why don't we make my trip to Buea, sell it as shares, like selling our potentials both to fellow Ambazonians who are capable of buying shares, and why not maybe to non-Ambazonians? You started because you will throw more light, because Charlotte L. Brown asked, why should should cause for independence become a business where people will own shares based on their financial contribution. This will be chaotic should Amazonia gain tomorrow. Thank you, Your Excellency. Over to you.
Yeah. Let me help you and the one who has asked the question. We are at war. We are at war. We didn't bring this on ourselves. The wicked king, Bimbondo, brought this on us. He declared the war when he arrived at the airport on that fateful day. I don't know what day of the week. And you saw the carnage that started. We are. If you have anybody from Ground Zero, I'm sure the person is writing like that from somewhere, not from Ground Zero. If you have anybody from Ground Zero, call them. If you don't belong in some forums, try to belong in some. No, so that you can feel the atmosphere. We are at war. When they are sending parachutes and helicopter gunships and burning down villages, about 16 of them already raced down in one subdivision. We are at war. And a war is not cheap to fund. It is not one of those things you move around and say, let's make small contributions, $10, $20. When the enemy, unless you want us to be completely wiped out, like the called UPCs, Maquisards. That's what happened. They wiped them all out. They resisted for a time. The French came in with firepower, set down villages, as they did the same thing as they are doing now. Killed everybody. A few of them to go exile. Those that went around poisoning more than 200,000 people. That's the hidden history. Hidden history of French Cameroon. They don't like to hear. That's what they did. So we are at war. You don't understand. It's much. What else at war? Spend money and they war. To the enemy, and then you I'm ready